In the 21st century, most people associate the word gold with wealth, prestige, and permanence. It glitters in wedding rings, glows in bank vaults, and symbolizes economic power in nearly every culture on Earth. Yet, behind the shimmering surface of this precious metal lies a far older idea. The dream that gold could be created, not mined, not traded, but forged artificially from something far more common, even worthless. Lead, for instance. This idea isn't new. It predates modern chemistry, physics, and even science itself. It originates in the ancient pursuit of alchemy, a system of thought where material transformation was inseparable from spiritual change. For centuries, alchemists across Europe, the Middle East, India, and China believed that with the right knowledge, the right tools, and perhaps divine favor, they could turn lead into gold. Their goals were more than economic. They saw material change as symbolic of inner transformation, the purification of the soul through mastery over nature. But for all their effort, they failed. Gold never emerged from their furnaces. Yet in recent decades, something remarkable happened. For the first time in history, scientists demonstrated that it is indeed possible, under extremely specific and controlled conditions, to change one element into another. In other words, modern science has achieved what ancient alchemists only dreamed of. And that's where CERN enters the story. Located near Geneva, Switzerland, CERN is home to the most advanced particle physics research in the world. Its massive underground accelerator, the Large Hadron Collider, allows scientists to explore the very fabric of reality: matter, energy, time, and space. But CERN has also become the center of countless rumors and conspiracy theories. One of the most persistent claims is that CERN, through its experiments with subatomic particles, is somehow turning lead into gold, that it has discovered, intentionally or not, the long-lost secret of alchemy. In this video, we will trace the roots of this claim. We'll examine what CERN actually does, what nuclear transmutation really means, and whether there is any truth, scientific or otherwise, to the idea that humanity has finally mastered the power to transform the elements. This is not a story about myths. It is a story about physics, history, and misunderstanding. And to understand the truth, we must start not in a laboratory, but in a library centuries ago. Chapter 1. The Ancient Dream of Transformation. From ancient Egypt to Renaissance Europe, the idea of transforming metals was deeply woven into philosophy, spirituality, and proto-scientific thinking. The goal of alchemy was not merely to create gold. It was to understand the hidden structure of reality. Alchemists believed that all matter was made from a combination of basic elements: earth, air, fire, and water. But beyond this physical structure, they believed that metals age and transform naturally over time. Lead, being heavy and base, was considered immature. Gold was seen as the final perfected form of matter. Thus, alchemists tried to speed up nature's process to artificially perfect matter using secret knowledge and mystical substances, particularly the elusive philosopher's stone. While most of their methods were unscientific, their work was not without value. Through experimentation, trial, and error, alchemy contributed to the early development of chemistry. Terms like distillation, sublimation, and elixir have their roots in alchemical texts. Still, despite centuries of work, lead never became gold. The atomic theory of matter had not yet been discovered. Alchemists didn't know that gold and lead are not two forms of the same substance. They are entirely different elements, distinguished by the number of protons in their atomic nuclei. The dream of alchemy seemed dead until the 20th century. Chapter 2. The Atomic Revelation. Everything changed with the discovery of the atom. At first, scientists believed atoms were indivisible, but soon discoveries revealed that atoms themselves were made of smaller particles: protons, neutrons, and electrons. It was found that the identity of any element depends entirely on how many protons are in the atom's nucleus. Hydrogen has 1, carbon has 6, gold has 79, lead has 82. In theory, if you could remove just 3 protons from the nucleus of a lead atom, you would be left with an atom of gold. It's a simple idea conceptually, but in practice, it's one of the most difficult things physics can attempt. Because atomic nuclei are not soft or malleable, they are extremely dense, tightly bound collections of matter held together by the strongest known force in the universe, the strong nuclear force. Altering a nucleus requires immense amounts of energy. It cannot be done with fire, pressure, or chemicals. It requires particle accelerators, nuclear reactors, or cosmic scale events like supernovas. This process, changing one element into another by altering its nucleus, is called nuclear transmutation, and it is very real. Chapter 3. The reality of nuclear transmutation. Scientists have known since the early 20th century that some elements can change into others. In nature, this happens through radioactive decay. Uranium, for example, eventually decays into lead over millions of years. But humans have also learned to create artificial transmutations. In 1919, Ernest Rutherford became the first person to deliberately change one element into another when he converted nitrogen into oxygen using alpha particles. Later, in the 1930s and 1940s, with the advent of nuclear physics, humanity learned to split atoms and to fuse them. During this time, the idea of turning lead into gold was revisited, but now through a scientific lens. Could we bombard atoms with particles, change their structure, and create gold? In 1980, scientists at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory successfully transformed bismuth, a metal chemically similar to lead, into gold by using a particle accelerator. They did this by bombarding bismuth atoms with high-energy particles, knocking off protons and neutrons and reassembling the nucleus into a different configuration. The result? Real gold. But it wasn't the kind of gold you'd want in a jewelry store. It was radioactive, produced in vanishingly small quantities, and cost millions of dollars per atom to produce. The experiment was a success, but it was also a proof of concept, not a practical method, which brings us back to the modern myth. Because once this became public knowledge, a question emerged. If it can be done, who's doing it now? And that question, sometimes serious, often speculative, brought attention to CERN. In an age where scientific breakthroughs make headlines and online speculation spreads like wildfire, CERN, with its enormous machines and cryptic terminology, became a magnet for modern myths. Chapter 4. What is CERN really doing? CERN is not an alchemical lab. It is not a gold factory. It is the world's most advanced center for particle physics research. It exists to explore the deepest laws of nature, not to manipulate matter for wealth. Founded in 1954, CERN's mission is simple but profound: to understand what the universe is made of and how it works at the most fundamental level. The Large Hadron Collider, completed in 2008, is their most ambitious tool. It accelerates protons to near light speed and collides them together, producing temperatures and energies not seen since the first moments after the Big Bang. The resulting particle collisions are recorded, studied, and analyzed to test theories of physics. In 2012, CERN famously confirmed the existence of the Higgs boson, completing the standard model of particle physics. But nowhere in its experiments, papers, or mission is there any intention to synthesize gold or transmute elements for material gain. However, because CERN works at the very edge of scientific understanding, and because much of its work is too complex for the general public to follow, it has become fertile ground for misinterpretation. Some online forums and videos claim that CERN, through its manipulation of subatomic particles, is secretly performing alchemical transformations, even creating gold from lead, just like the ancient alchemists dreamed. CERN isn't turning lead into gold, but in its search to understand the universe, it's revealing something far more valuable: the truth behind the fabric of reality itself.